So just looking at the region, West Africa, but also the continent as a whole, when we're talking about, mobilizing domestic resources, people don't trust governments, the informal economy is very high, so it makes it much harder to get taxation for the public purse.
Tax reform will have to be written in English language, understandable, and not Japanese in English.
Seriously, President Tinubu is always talking about his achievements in Lagos with immense pride. Yes, and he has also started talking about his achievements in Nigeria too. When they ask him question in African CEO Forum in
Yes, guys, another update. You all know that I promise you that we'll be bringing you latest news and politics from Nigeria. So this is a breaking and fresh updates. Tinubu, Nigeria president, visited Kigali, that's Rwanda capital. They went for Africa CEO Summit, and Tinubu was asked a lot of questions. The interview was more than 20 minutes, but I think I'll just put up to some minutes for you guys to watch. Like, some people are saying that Tinubu went to disgrace Nigerians, Tinubu went to disgrace himself in Kigali, that's in Rwanda, with the way he answered the questions. Now, I'm gonna leave the video clips for you all to see, and then you let me know whether or not Tinubu did well in terms of responding to the questions. If you ask me, to be honest, I would say Tinubu is a very, very brilliant and educated president. Yes, take it from me, because sometimes he makes jokes and people think that he doesn't know what he's doing. But from what he said in this interview today, though most of the things are not things that are visible, because according to him, he said he has made tax reform in Nigeria electronically, that everything, you can be in your house and pay your tax, you can be in your house and then you assess your tax, whatever money you've paid and how your money is being spent, how the tax is being spent and all that. I don't know if that is visible, if that is possible right now in Nigeria. But according to him, he said he has done a lot of things. And in terms of agriculture, he said he has done a lot in terms of agriculture as well. He went as far as to praise Dangote, that Dangote is an entrepreneur, is doing, in fact, I will leave the video for you guys to see and let me know what you think, because some Nigerians are saying that, Tinubu has disgraced himself in Kigali, Rwanda. I don't know about that. So let's see the video together, and then I'll be back with the rest of my thoughts. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I bring you the latest news as they enter town. That's how the camera can give you. So subscribe, like, and share. Leave your comment what you think in the comment section, and I will be back.
But we're talking continent-wide here.
Removing all the bottlenecks, giving you necessary incentives for direct foreign investment into the country. This year alone, I can beat my chest that Nigeria is attracting close to $20 billion foreign direct investment. It's because unwind the bottlenecks, be efficient, be transparent, be open. There's no intellectual capacity that is deniable by the rest of the world.
Okay, let's see what President Oligi Ngema says. So,
it is very welcoming to see that we are up to it, and I must congratulate my brother, the president of, Rwanda, to putting this together, and congratulate all of you organizers and the participants. For me, Africa needs to put its money where its mouth is.
Would you put your microphone? Would you put your microphone where your mouth is?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We need to put our money where our mouth is and develop a relationship. Luckily, we have, African trade agreement that should not be left on the drawing board. should be activated properly. Regional collaboration and effective utilization of our resources. Not working in silos, but in collaboration with one another, using what we have. To me, I believe in Africa first, because I've started Nigeria first. And all resources, today, we don't want scavengers. We don't want extractors. We want people to add value. If you're an investor, we will encourage you to add value to what we have as a nation before that is. That's it.
Thank you. We'll come to Africa moving up the value chain, but I'll just come to President Oligui Nguema of Gabon, just to ask him really.
Be in the 21st century class of communication.
Okay. So just really, I mean, it would be remiss of me not to mention the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which sort of came out to being in earnest in 2021. And it very much embodies the kind of Pan-African spirit and, you know, domestic resource mobilization, looking at yourselves and the continent in order to prosper. But we are starting from a very low base, 18%. Of intra-African trade in Africa is intra-African. Are you optimistic?
I am.
You are?
Very optimistic. We have a very dynamic, youthful population, restless and not ready to take excuses. I'm a politician. If I don't get them ready for that, they will vote me out.
You know, I was talking to one of the delegates here, Ebenezer Asante from MTN, and he said to me, if you get the chance to ask the president, say to them, listen, politics always gets in the way of integration, is what he said.
Yes.
He's right.
He's right.
Yeah. But you're the politician. You can do something about that and use your influence across the continent.
A politician is a critical member of your society. He must listen to you, respond to you, and answer to the public, can be accountable.
President.
I agree with you. Investment is very cowardly unless you are transparent, accountable, and forthright. And part of that element is Africa looking at itself, making sure that we can put these resources together and go out there and negotiate for ourselves. To me, I wrote an article in the Financial Times talking about international rating agencies. What do they know about Rwanda? Have they visited Rwanda and see the potential tourism of this country?
And its growth last year of 9.4%.
9.4%. And if you don't leverage that one in value creation, how can Rwanda benefit?
Well, why don't you get your own African credit rating agency? Because the big American three, Fitch, S&P, and Moody's, they dominate 95% of the market.
We're doing that. That is why we recapitalize all our financial institutions.
Because they give Africa consistently low ratings.
You have to help yourself. Now, no one can take metal out of Nigeria without adding value. No one. Gone were the days where you can excavate the dust, all the minerals, and go. No. I can produce battery for cars with my metals. Rare earth mineral is valuable. But if a Mobil, a Total, a Shell we value what is on the ground as a balance sheet item capable of funding and raising capital that is necessary for the exploration and production of my resources.
Yeah.
Why not do it for me too?
But you know, and I'll put this to both of you.
With the crisis around the world, particularly Iran conflict, Nigeria will be able to survive with over 200 million people in peace without a refinery. And what I, a risk taker like a Dangote refinery must be encouraged by the government and power. What I did is support him, give him free trade zone license, support him in the effort to source the crude that is necessary. And today he is the exporter, net exporter of both the PMS, aviation fuel, and other commodities.
Yeah, we heard that he's favouring all the African carriers, Ethiopian Airlines and so on, for the aviation fuel that's in great demand. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But he's producing 650,000 barrels per day, which is only enough for 70% of Nigeria's needs. So he's still a little bit away from being able to export refined oil, petrol to his neighbours.
Yes. And it's been supported. My own formula is, like I said, put your money where your mouth is. When they're about to start a crisis, say, okay, what is the denominated currency in Nigeria? That is Naira. I have crude that you expect me to export in dollar. So I give you, as my local refinery, I give you crude in Naira. No letter of credit, no bank scrambling, and exchange rate instability.
Are we
Solve the problem.
You meant, the cross-border payments, which means, African countries don't have to convert to USD and so on. So that, very good, the cross-border payments and so on. But just very quickly as an aside, I mean, I think it was you or maybe President Oligi Nguema who mentioned monetary union and how the euro has got the euro. So if Europe's got the euro, when will Africa get the afro?
Nigeria, I would say, and speaking for Africa as African champion, putting our spirit behind what we talk about is creating a platform. Look around the entire continent, 54 countries. There's none of us without a particular commodity available in the country or the other. Why not start an exchange commodity platform where we can trade with one another?
Well, why don't you start one?
You say?
Why don't you start the commodity exchange you're talking about? You're the most numerous country, biggest economy, or South Africa, the two of you battle it out at times, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned commodities, and let me bring in President. The tax to GDP ratio in Africa is the lowest in the world at 16%. When you were governor of Lagos, you put a lot of work into doing something there with the local taxes, didn't you? But it's still pitifully low all over Africa.
But today, Lagos State is the 5th largest economy in Africa.
But looking at the all right, I'll let you brag about Lagos and Nigeria, but you were chair of ECOWAS.
I'm very proud of the legacy I left behind there.
Okay, all right.
I'm still monitoring that.
You talked about beating your chest, President Tinubu. You've done plenty of that, but you were chair of ECOWAS until last year. So just looking at the region, West Africa, but also the continent as a whole, when we're talking about, mobilizing domestic resources, people don't trust governments, the informal economy is very high, so it makes it much harder to get taxation for the public purse.
Tax reform will have to be written in English language, understandable, and not Japanese in English. A standard that everyone will be able to pay, not for the avoidance, but genuineness of citizenship, right commitment to pay taxes. Write it simple but not stupid. I've reformed that in Nigeria. You can pay your taxes from your telephone. You can assess yourself and you can evaluate yourself so easily from your telephone. It is. What Africa needs is to also put funding in place for research and development. This research and development will get our youths going. They are highly intellectually inquisitive. They will do it. Believe in them.
Yeah, but the budget doesn't go there, does it, into science and R&D? Is it 2%, I think, of African countries' GDP should be paid? Yeah, very low indeed. But when it comes to the private sector, President Tinubu and President Oligi Ngema, thank you very much indeed. Yes, you conflict to think regionally or to think in a continent-wide way. They're going to be thinking about their own.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you very much for watching the video with me. Whatever you think about this interview, leave it in the comment section. I will see you all in my next video. If I have more updates, I'll also bring it to you. Remember to subscribe. Subscription is free. And I want to use this medium to say thank you to YouTube for giving us this amazing platform to share news and politics with Nigerians all over the world. I will see you in my next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye.